Sorry about that. I'm about to start the meeting,
Okay.
or sorry, like let everyone in. I'm here if you need any.
University. My job was to proctor exams, grade papers.
So before we get hold on. So before we get started, anyone here know Java? So like I said, my name's Austin. I would want to say thanks for allowing me to host this session. So for today, we're gonna keep it simple. So for topics, we're gonna go over IDEs I would personally recommend for using for Java, data types, conditional statements like if else, and else if, repetition, 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 uh, called the data type before you can make variables. And the main thing with Java is that it focuses on OOP, or object-oriented programming, which is generally when you make a bunch of classes that have their own attributes and methods that are meant to represent stuff in real life. In terms of functionality, I would say the only real differences is like the syntax, and it's currently being run on over 30 billion devices on the world, which is a lot.
For creating AIs, they are using Python, but even though Java is more stable, why are they not using Java for AI?
Void main, all lowercase, parentheses, string, square brackets. But as you can see, the skeleton of Java is going to be public static void main, your basic code. So first, I'm going to show an example of each integer. You There are certain things you can't name it. In this case, one of the example is you can't name it one of the data types. So I can't call it short, which is why I'm going to do short example. So okay, so now we're going to do short. So we did short example 4, 5, 6. As you can see, once we kind of get into the 100,000 range, that's where we get an error. 10 decimal. So we can actually get it to like a billion. Yes. Byte is generally 3 values, short is 5, int is like 10, and long is like, I don't know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 8. Okay, I think I showed the example. So now I'm going to do float. Float example. And there's a couple differences here. For instance, you actually have to put F at the end. Okay, I'm not going to waste your time with that. But as you can see, they're both good. They can actually hold. Double can hold more decimal points, but it's much more. And we're gonna call all this true. And we're gonna do Boeing example 2. So here, this is where we would assign a true or false value to a Boeing. Let's go with A, care example 2. You can only assign letters to a character's value. That is not true. It's more commonly used for letters, but you can still use numbers or symbols for it. And you're going to make it equal to one equal sign. So I'm going to post an example in chat. Character is just the one character in the single quotation string is a group of characters in the double quotation. That we're going to go over as an if statement. An if statement is really simple. So, but if you're new, you can do if Boeing example 1 is equal to true. Actually, hold on, I'm gonna do a better example. We're gonna say 15 is an even number. But since that's not true, we're gonna do else brackets, and we're gonna do system dot out dot print line 15 is an odd number. And it'll run the code we want to run if this condition is false. And then we kind of go down here and we have else, which I know is kind of weird, but if you want a better example, I don't know why this is Spanish, but whatever, it'll point out this statement. Else if is less than 50, it'll point out this. If the first condition is false, it'll move on to the second condition. If that one is false, it'll move to the third condition. If that one is false, it'll move to the fourth condition. Also, I would want to mention is, even though it's better to use brackets, you can actually just get away with not using brackets if it's just the one line. So let's say if, hold on, give me a random number. Give me a number. 7, 509, 67, 76. I'm gonna go with 76, I think. Actually, I'm gonna go with 67. 67 is divisible by 5. else if 67 divisible the modulus. Also, just kind of showcase the other example, you can actually use modulus 2 is equal to 0. We're going to say system dot out dot print line. We're going to do system dot out dot print line. Oh, I forgot one little thing. Okay, so I'm going to do user option equals. I haven't gone over scanners yet, but basically what I will show later is that it prints out 5 times. So prints out we love the code. I'll add one to user option, but it'll actually do it first. So I'm gonna just copy and paste it. So just kind of showcase it. Don't forget your parentheses or your semicolons. It's 5 now. We can't do this anymore, so it ends the code. A for loop is actually meant to run only a finite amount of times, and it's based on 3 components. And I'm going to display those. So I'm going to do, so the first thing you want is the initialization. And next thing and the last thing we're going to do is we're going to set up the increment, whatever we would want it to run, which in this case, let's just have it count up, just to keep it simple. And we can see it adds it's x plus plus, which means we have to add 1 onto the initial value. Increment again, add 1 onto it. It'll make that 2, and it keeps going until we get to x is equal to 9. It'll check if x is less than 10. It is, because 9 is less than 10. It'll point out 9. Then it'll add 1 more onto it. From what I've experienced, while loops and do while usually involves user inputs. You see here, on one line we have print line will jump to the next line, and then I'm going to do system dot out dot print line. Although in this case it doesn't really matter. I just want to showcase what print would do. As you can see, even though I did make this statement 2 different lines, so the last topic we're going to go over, I believe, is scanner. So in Java, we use a scanner to keep track of user inputs. Input java.util.scanner. Next, whatever the data type is. You know, if it's int, you would do next int. If it's a string, you would do next line. First, we're gonna do the input. Oh, I have a lot of questions. Question one more time, please. Copy this, just save a little bit on time because I think we're kind of running a little low. Spring is nice, is lovely because of the flowers and weather. Else if user option equals 4, summer to swim, and it's my birthday, which, by the way, summer actually does have my birthday. My birthday is actually July 14th. So I'm gonna put 2. Winter is great because it has snow and Christmas. Okay, 1 or 4. As you can see, the program ends because it only runs as long as the user option is not equal to 5 and there's nothing afterwards, so it basically ends.